It's already started for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about a recent report that suggests that the Chicago Bulls are going to be into a tough season this season because of the amount of guards that they have on the roster. So we're going to be talking about how this is going to possibly hurt the Chicago Bulls and their youth movement. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so we're breaking down a report where Billy Donovan is talking about the challenges of having so many guards on the roster. And I think that this is really going to show you how this is going to affect players like Dalen Terry, Ayo Dosunmu, and also too, some of the other players that are trying to play, that need to play and need to be evaluated by this team as they continue to go ahead and build out the roster. And so as we take a look at what Billy Donovan had to say, you can find this article out there. I believe it's under Hoop Hypes, but he's talking about we can't play them all. And so this is essentially what Billy Donovan had to say. He's saying, look, it is going to be, they're super competitive. He's talking about the players. And then he's saying that, we just don't have enough minutes to play everybody. And so, in this guard group, you have Zach Lavine, you have Josh Giddey, you have Javon Carter, Lonzo Ball, Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, DJ Stewart. We just signed Javon Liberty Freeman. All right, so we have all these guards on the roster. And you have guards that I think are ready to take the next step. And we're talking about Kobe White. We're talking about Ayo Dosunmu. Both of those players have shown that they are ready to take another step with the Bulls. And so Kobe White, very impressed with what he was able to do in the preseason game. You saw that when the offense got stagnated, he was able to make some plays for this team. I believe he had 21 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, something like that. But more importantly, when the offense broke down, he was able to go ahead and calm that offense and make it happen. And I think that a lot of players out there were looking for him. And in 20 minutes for him to do this well, it just shows you that Kobe White, his time spent just kind of listening to DeMar DeRozan, watching him in the clutch, and also helping him in the clutch. I think that that is going to help Kobe White take that next step. And because we added a guard, he actually shifts away from something that he wanted to do, which is play the point guard. Now, I love Kobe White. I love his approach. He's talked about that he can play on or off the ball. And I like him so much because he's been able to excel with really any role that the Chicago Bulls have put him in. And that's why I think that he is for sure a building block piece. And that goes for Ayo Dosunmu as well, because he has had to do the same thing. Like, he's been in situations where he started, he's been in situations where he's come off the bench, and every time he's excelled. And both of these players have shown real promise for the Chicago Bulls, and Ayo looked terrific in this preseason game. I know it's a preseason game, but when we were down by 13, 16 points, whatever it was, Ayo Dosunmu came in and was an absolute game changer for us. He was knocking down threes. Defensively, he was out there. He was a menace on the defensive end. And in fact, he kind of makes you wonder, is he our best defender on the team? And so I know between him and Modest Buzelis and Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, they all play great defense. And so he's coming off the bench because we have acquired Josh Giddey, and we have invested into Josh Giddey. We still didn't move on from Zach Lavine if that is something that the Chicago Bulls wanted to do. And so you're seeing now we have some younger players that they may not get the minutes or be in the situations that they should be in because we have so many guards on the roster. And Ayo, I think, absolutely should be a starter. I don't have a problem with him coming off the bench. I think he would be the best sixth man in the NBA, if not one of the better sixth men in the NBA, because I think that he's that type of impactful player. But you're probably going to need him in the starting lineup, especially if he continues to show you that he is the best defender on the team. Like, you need to have defense. As much as you want to go out there, run up and down and score the basketball, you need to get some stops. And so that would suggest that somebody's going to have to sit down. And more than likely, Zach Lavine, he's probably not going to sit down because you've invested into him. You're trying to mend that relationship. I couldn't see him doing that. I think that he's done all the right things by going out there and saying that he's willing to play any role possible. So I couldn't see that from him. And Josh Giddey, you're bringing him over. It's in a contract year. You would essentially be doing the same thing that happened to him at OKC. And so that's going to be a real issue as well. And so this is why bringing over the guards and having this many guards is going to be an issue. And before we really go into the next point, Dalen Terry. I've talked about how well he's done in the offseason. I just talked about how Coby White, he had worked with DeMar DeRozan. Dalen Terry did the same thing. We've seen all the videos out there where he's been in the Drew League. He's been playing extremely well. I talked about how he was at USC. He was working out with Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, some really great players in this league. And you knew that he was coming in. He was going to be serious. It looks like the game has slowed down. And now, in this article, it suggests that because we have these guards in front of him, he may not get the development necessary. You just picked up a contract on him, and I think he should absolutely crack the rotation. But in order for him to really take that next step and really show just how good he is, you have got to clear the way for a player like this to play. And this is where this issue is really happening again for the Bulls moving forward, because it looks like they, once again with their moves, they are playing checkers instead of playing chess, which is what most GMs really do in the league. You have to play chess and look a couple moves ahead. The Chicago Bulls clearly did not do that with the moves that they have made to this roster. And that brings me to the closing point in Josh Giddey. I want Josh Giddey to succeed. I think that you see that Josh Giddey can absolutely be a playmaker. He certainly can be a rebounder. Yes, he can be that slasher that gets to the rim, but I've talked about it a couple times on the channel. He is going to need to be able to stretch the floor. And I'm not saying he has to just be a standstill three-point shooter, but if guys are getting to the lane, they're drawing two, it's inevitable that the rotation is going to be there, and he's going to be out there for some open three-point jumpers. He's going to have to not be airballing those, and I know it's game one. I know he's coming off a torn tendon in his ankle. I get it, but that's going to have to be a reliable part in his game. And even Stacey King said this throughout the telecast. He says, look, you don't want teams to just zone up on him. And so the Bulls took a major risk with bringing Josh Giddey over because it added to the many guards that we had. They're anticipating that they're going to be able to unlock Josh Giddey, and that would need to start now, not next year, now, because you're going into the contract year after this year. And so if he does not take that step as an offensive player, and he's still the same player, now you have to ask yourself, are you going to invest another contract after you just lost probably your best defender? And now he may not get to the status that you need to get to. You have a player in a player like Ayo Dosunmu who looks like he should be starting alongside of Coby White, or even Dalen Terry. If you do give him the minutes and you see that he should be getting more minutes, what are you going to do there? And so this is where it is going to be a real challenge for the Chicago Bulls, especially since we're trying to find an identity. We need to get a lot bigger up front, a lot more physical, and we have all these guards on the roster. So anyway, let me know what you are thinking in the comments here. Do you believe that Josh Giddey is going to find his way with this team, and that trade with Alex Caruso made a lot of sense there? Do you feel like, the guards on this team, it's not going to be an issue? The Chicago Bulls are somehow going to figure it out. It's not going to stop the youth movement that they obviously need to get into. Let me know what you're thinking. And so I want to thank everybody out there for liking and sharing and subscribing to the videos. It means a lot to us. Want to let you know that 64.2% of you that watch are not subscribed. So make sure that you go ahead and slam dunk on that subscribe button for me. And look, even though we do not know what we want to do with this roster, and we do have too many guards. I'm still saying, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.